My name's Tim Weissman. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I opened in 2008. My wife and I had been looking for an opportunity, something to do, because in my previous life I was a clinical psychologist, and I really just got burned out and wanted to do something else outside of psychology. Not being a business person, I wasn't sure what to do because I'd spent a long time in college, My area of specialty was trauma, so I worked with war veterans. In Houston, they have a very large veterans hospital. It's actually the second largest building in the country, federal building behind the Pentagon. It's the Houston VA Medical Center, and I worked there helping most of the Iraqi and Afghanistan war vets. And it was tough work, and I was getting really burned out. Being a clinical psychologist looking for another business opportunity, I wasn't sure where to start. And I was up late one night researching business opportunities, found entrepreneur.com, and discovered franchising as a concept. I didn't even know about it really. You hear about that franchises exist, but it didn't really understand what it meant. And so I started going down and researching all these different opportunities and came across a franchise consultant company. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna give them a call. And so I did. And after several interviews where they got to know me and got to know what I was interested in, they told me about different concepts that they thought fit what I was looking for. And, the things I wanted were family-friendly, low cost to enter, resilient, strong business model that had a proven track record, those types of things. When the franchise consultant said, here's this window cleaning company, me being Dr. Weissman, and then thinking I'm going to be cleaning windows on the street, what's going on here? And so it was a little bit, I wasn't sure what to make out of it. But I really thought it through and realized that the model was really strong, and it checked out all the boxes I was looking for. I wanted to spend more time with my families. I wanted holidays, off. I wanted weekends off, those types of things. I didn't want to be working 12, 15-hour days. And Fish had all of that. And so I thought, well, I'm going to consider this. What really sealed the deal for my wife and I was, since we did not have a business background, we weren't sure what to make of all of the claims of, that this model's going to work or not. And so we thought, well, if we don't really have the experience to analyze the business from a business perspective, how am I going to analyze it? And so I analyzed it from what I knew, which was a psychological perspective. Do I feel these individuals, these people that are telling me about this model have integrity, are honest, are genuine? And if I believe those things based on how I'm interacting with them, then I don't really need to check out all the little things they're telling me. If I believe this person has integrity, well, then I'm just going to take the leap. And so that's the way we did it. And from literally the beginning, we knew instantly when we met Mike Merrick that this was an individual who had integrity, was honest, and who genuinely wanted to help us build a business. And it was true then, and we knew it, and it's been true ever since. And so, that's really what sold us on Fish. Our startup was probably unique. I get calls from people who are interested in getting into fish, and they frequently ask, what it was like early on and where we're at now. And I always tell them to take it a little bit with a grain of salt because, I was extremely motivated when I started, and precisely because my background was being a clinical psychologist. When I left the hospital, I had to tell all my friends and family and colleagues that I was turning away from a very secure federal job where I had a whole career path laid out in front of me, and benefits and retirement and all that good stuff, right? Prestige of being Dr. Weissman in a hospital setting, and now I'm going to go clean windows. And so for me, failure really was not an option. I was not going to go back to everybody and say, yeah, you remember that idea I had a couple of years ago about the window cleaning thing? Well, yeah, now I need to be a psychologist again. So that wasn't going to happen. I was going to succeed, and there was nothing that was going to stop it. So from literally the first day, I went out every single day and just made it happen. I had a very, very large fire in my belly to make sure that we succeeded. And so I think because of that, because failure is not an option mentality, we just went off like a rocket, and we did some really high production numbers in our first full year. We've got 3 territories today, and they're all contiguous, and so we're able to run it out of one office. We've got about 20 employees. Probably 4 of them are staff in the office. We have an office manager. We've got 2 admins, my wife who does a lot of accounting, and then myself. And then we've got about 14 or so technicians. So our business is 81% commercial and 19% residential. We have made the decision to really focus on the commercial side, primarily because that's where our bread and butter is. That is the consistent work that our guys are able to count on, all of our technicians. If the residential side is wonderful, it's great, but it's the commercial side that really supports the business and keeps it going. And so that's where we put most of our focus. I think that what really makes a fish franchisee successful is having that fire in the belly. I know that's really been the case for me. I'm very organized, but I'm really motivated. What's great about being a small business owner is that every single day, all the effort that I put forth, I'm getting back. When you work for a corporation, you don't really get that back. And so it's, in some ways, it's almost addicting to put forth all that effort and see the growth and understand that every day that the business is growing, you and your family are going to have a direct benefit. And so it's almost like a self-perpetuating deal where you put forth the effort, you see the result, and you get it back. And so, wow, I'm going to put forth more effort. And so you really have to have that motivation to build it, because if you start off that way and then you see the result of it getting built, that keeps you motivated. Certainly, if you start being very motivated, that's wonderful. But you also have to have a really great model behind you. And with fish, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The folks at Fish have spent decades refining a really great business model. And if you just do the things you need to do each day and stay consistent, you're going to build a strong business. And you're going to build a business that's going to start growing almost sometimes in spite of the owners, when they're not doing as much as they should be doing, but they continue to grow because the model is so resilient and it spreads the net so wide. If you have a customer that goes out of business, the windows don't go away. The windows are still there. And so when the next customer comes in, the next business owner comes in, they are going to need service too. And also from the perspective of if a sector of the economy starts to, dip, there are other sectors that are doing just fine. And so the fact that Fish is very, a wide net is really helpful. So my favorite part of the fish business is sales. And I never in a million years would have thought that might be the case 10 years ago before I got into fish. I was not a salesperson. I was not a business person. I was a psychologist. And what I've found with sales is that it's really not much different than sitting down and talking to a client. Not that you're trying to analyze someone, but that it's just being with another person and talking to them and understanding where they might have a need and where you might be able to help them. And that's it. And if you see it from that perspective, sales becomes really, really easy and fun. And so I enjoy that a lot. what fish has allowed my wife and I to do is live a lifestyle that we were not able to live when, I was working as, a psychologist for the federal government. If we were faced with opening a new business again and we found fish, we absolutely would do it again. It was definitely the right choice for us then. It's the right choice for us now, and we're excited about being fish lifers. I mean, I joke about that with folks, but there's no exit strategy. I know a lot of people get into businesses and they think, well, what's my exit strategy? And what I'm told is that you should always have an exit strategy when you go into business, but I don't really see the need with fish. I mean, we love it. We love the fish family. It's something I haven't really talked about is, we went through Hurricane Harvey. Our home was flooded. We had to be rescued by speedboats. And within a week, people we knew around the country in fish had all donated money to help us. We didn't ask for that. It just, people found out this had happened and they did that. And that's the type of community that you sign up for, and it's touching and it's really wonderful. Well, I'll give you one fun story about the model. When we went through fish training school, part of the sales is business to business, and going out and going down the street and just going in from one business to the next to let them know we exist and offer them a free estimate, those types of things. And when we were trained in fish, it was very insistent. You don't skip any place. You go to every single place on that street, right? And so I came back to Houston and we had salespeople and we trained salespeople that way. And we had this one young sales guy about year 2. And we told him, do not skip any place. So anyways, he took it to heart. And one day he's going down this one road and the next building that he comes to happens to be the Federal Reserve. And now the Federal Reserve is not some place that you just go and knock on the door at, okay? The Federal Reserve has huge, I think they're called ballards, those big things that come out of the road so vehicles can't come on site. There's security, all sorts of stuff. So he goes and he drives up to it and he's like, hey, I'm here to give a free window cleaning estimate. And the security's like, what? He's like, yeah, I was going to give you a free window cleaning estimate. The security guard is kind of confused, so he calls, up, and he's like, yeah, there's some guy here about window cleaning, back and forth. And then they're like, oh, okay, let him in. So they let him in. He goes in there, and he goes inside, and somebody comes down from, I guess the facility's maintenance, and they're like, I don't understand. What's going on? He goes, I was going to give you free window cleaning. Well, no, did anybody call you, ask you to come out here? He's like, no, I was just doing it. So the guy, talks to one of his boss and like, okay, I guess, yeah, sure, give us a free estimate. We ended up cleaning the Federal Reserve Bank. And so it's true, don't skip any place.